Am I the asshole for not wanting to sit at the kids' table? Last weekend I, 22F, was at a family party at my aunt's house to celebrate my cousin's, her son, birthday. It was a nice time as always, and when it was time to eat, I got my plate and started heading downstairs where everyone was gathered since the kitchen is upstairs and the family room is down. Anyway, my aunt rushes over and asks me where I'm going. I said downstairs like everyone else, and she told me I had to sit at the table so I wouldn't spill anything or make a mess. I didn't like this because I'm 22 years old and I know how not to make a mess, and also because the only people sitting at the table were my 3 little cousins who are 13, 10, and 6 years old. I told her again I didn't have to sit at the table, but she stood in front of me and blocked my way downstairs, so I just gave up and sat with my little cousins. Someone told my aunt the cooler was out of water, so she went back in the kitchen to get more. Since she couldn't see me, I decided to go downstairs anyway. About 5 minutes later she comes downstairs and sees me sitting on the couch eating and demands for me to go back upstairs to eat at the table. I tried to remain respectful, but I said I was too old to eat at the kids' table and I didn't understand why I was expected to eat with them when my sister, 24F, didn't have to. My aunt just huffed and went back upstairs and eventually sat down with her own plate of food. She seemed a little upset about it the rest of the party. In the car on the way home, my dad said I should have just sat the kids' table and listened to my aunt because it was her house. I didn't respond because I didn't want to drag the issue out, but I thought it was ridiculous that they were making this such a big deal. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole sounds like she wanted a free babysitter for her kids. Not the asshole. Your aunt wanted you to watch the kids. She can do that. Not the asshole, you were the de facto babysitter. Not the asshole. That is weird AF. Perhaps aunt wanted someone to be watching the kids? But I can't understand why she wouldn't just ask you instead of treating you like a child, and a young child at that. Very weird and frankly insulting behavior. Were you the youngest person there other than the 3 cousins you mentioned? Not the asshole. Where was the rest of your family during this? Nobody stood up for you? It's weird. Even assuming the 13-year-old was not capable of properly eating food without spilling is weird. Maybe the 13-year-old was watching the little ones? There was some ulterior something happening with your aunt and I'd want to know what the heck that was about. Not the asshole. It is weird that your aunt has such a vendetta against you not sitting in kids' area to warrant her to ruin her own day. Info. It is this first gathering in her house? And in previous gathering, where did you sit? Not the asshole, and I feel like she just wanted a free babysitter for the younger cousins. Not the asshole. Sounds like she made an excuse so you had to babysit the kids in the situation. Or tried to anyway. Am I the asshole turning away a woman knocking at my door in the middle of the night looking for help? I fully admit that I don't really think I did anything wrong and this is ridiculous to me, but my partner is angry and thinks I'm an asshole. Maybe I am. Around 1:30 a.m. today, a woman who neither me and or my partner has ever seen before came knocking at our door. I admit she was acting upset. She says that she's looking for her boyfriend. It's snowing and cold outside in the middle of the night. My hackles pretty much instantly rose. I've heard stories of people knocking on doors and faking distress looking for houses to rob. My partner on the other hand is ready and willing to let her in and try to help. Help with what? Her boyfriend is not here. He has never been here. I tell her not so nicely that he's not here, that I know what she's doing, and that she needs to get the fuck off my property now. Now we're up, it's almost 3 a.m. and still arguing on and off about me being an asshole to some poor innocent woman who's just worried about her boyfriend. I don't understand what we could have done. Whoever this dude is, he certainly hasn't been at our place. If she's cold and upset, maybe she should go home and file a missing persons report. On her own phone at her own house. My partner argues that they may have been homeless. Her boyfriend may have mental or substance abuse problems that are weighing on her, so she can't do that. And all of that is a true possibility. I spoke harshly because I don't believe her at all, and that if anything else even mildly suspicious happened after that door closed, I would be calling the cops. I did not verbally threaten to call the cops, nor did I actually do it. I think my partner is naive. My partner thinks I'm heartless. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Am I the asshole? Edit. They spoke at the door for at least 3 minutes before I interjected. She asked multiple times to come inside and not once for someone to call the cops to help her find her boyfriend. I'm personally reluctant to call the cops in any situation because of possible escalation. My partner outright did not want me to do so because he was worried it might get the woman in trouble. No cops for anybody, even if I regret that part now, if only because it might have saved one of my neighbors from the scheme. Edit 2. I called the non-emergency line to report it this morning and I have regrets. Why the fuck do the police need to know my full name including middle and date and birth to tell them about some suspicious bitch? Oh well. Around 1:30 a.m. today, a woman who neither me and or my partner has ever seen before came knocking at our door. I admit she was acting upset. She says that she's looking for her missing boyfriend. It's snowing and cold outside in the middle of the night. Not the asshole. As much as I would want to help out, I wouldn't do this either. That's sketchy as hell and it's frankly not your problem. You don't even know the person very well, which is also a red flag. Better safe than sorry. If this is real, of course you're not the asshole. Innocent people don't go round at 1 a.m. knocking on people's doors asking if you've seen their lost boyfriend. You've probably saved yourselves from being burgled or attacked or something. Edit. Thanks to everyone who wished me happy cake day. My partner argues that they may have been homeless. Her boyfriend may have mental or substance abuse problems that are weighing on her, so she can't do that. If he is allowed to make shit up and decide on the basis of his fantasy, then so are you. I think this is one of those things that requires a yes from both of you, so not the asshole. I would have said NaH, but if your partner is angry, that changes it a little for me. 911 operator here, 100% not the asshole. You made the right choice. I mean, there is always that chance that maybe it was legitimate, but that scenario is so commonly used by people looking to burglarize homes it's not even funny. It's nice your partner wanted to help the lady out, but not the wisest decision given the situation. Not the asshole, I am with you. That is a suspect as all heck, and you're probably right that she's up to something. She is looking for her missing boyfriend? All you owe her is a, nope, not seen anyone all night, and then lock the house up tight. Even if she's genuine, you don't have any obligation to insert yourself into other people's drama. Not the asshole. If years of absorbing true crime has taught me anything, it's a, that thing you think is a mannequin laying in the trees isn't a mannequin laying in the trees. B. That mystery suitcase you just found washed up absolutely does not contain treasure, and C. Don't let random people into your house. Why do you think the 70s had so many serial killers? Boomers are always like, oh, millennials never open their doors to people unless they're expecting them. No, we don't, and that's why we don't get beat. We had a number of home invasions, yep, that's what they're called here in Tampa, Florida about 10 years ago. I myself got a frantic woman pounding on my door screaming about her lost dog that she knew I had inside. It was pitch dark and a pouring rainstorm. I told her via intercom 30 seconds to GTFO or police would be called. Later a cop said that was a typical setup for an invasion. A number of victims were killed during these encounters. Your partner is naive. Not the asshole. I was robbed. I don't have a phone. Please call the police. A weird man is following me and I don't know where to hide. These are situations where you actually could have helped, although it could still be fake, I get that. But in this situation you couldn't help her and it was better not to take the risk of letting a stranger in. Maybe next time you could ask her through the door what she expects you to do and if she wants you to call someone. That way you can still try to help without letting her in. Am I the asshole for leaving early from my husband's work event? I, 31F, and my husband have been married for 3 years. My husband, 32M, works for an agency and I work as a nurse. We just found out that I am expecting and are very excited. Every year, my husband's agency has a huge event where new promotions are announced and it's a great time. My father has been very sick the past year and his health has not been improving. My husband's work event was this past week. During the event, I got the call from my mother that my father took his last breath and she needed me there for comfort. I apologized to my husband and promised to take him out to celebrate. My husband texts me while I'm at the hospital with a long text about how horrible my behavior was for abandoning him. I apologized and told him that I would make it up to him. He didn't respond and I decided to spend the night at my parents' house. He has been very short with me and bringing it up in arguments. Am I the asshole for leaving early from my husband's work event? Not the asshole. Wow, I read it twice just to be sure. Your father died and your husband is mad you left a party? Your husband is a massive gaping awe. Not the asshole. By the title, I thought you ditched the event because you didn't enjoy it. Or to go out with friends. Or any number of things. But your father died. Actually died. Not only are you completely right for leaving, but your husband should have gone with you. Big work event? Doesn't matter. He could easily have found his boss, told him, "Sir, my wife just got the call that her father died. We need to leave." And it would have been fine. The idea that your husband is pissed about you leaving means he's angry that you weren't there to be a trophy for him to display. Wait. Your dad literally passed away. Sorry for your loss. And your husband is mad because you left his work party? You are so not the asshole, but your husband definitely is. Does he have no compassion at all? This can't be real, right? Absolutely not the asshole, and hurry, divorce this child before you have your child. He will be telling you how disappointed he is in you for not making dinner 5 minutes after giving birth. Sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Your father died. It doesn't matter how long his illness was. Your husband is the asshole for not only getting angry at you for leaving his work event, but for not going with you. Wait. Your father died, and instead of leaving to go with you and comfort you and your mom, he not only stayed but then berated Ton for leaving? Your father died, and instead of going with you as a comfort he stayed and then keeps bringing it up as if you are the bad guy. Absolutely 10,000% not the asshole. Your father died. Your husband is the most self-centered narcissistic. You married badly. I could not continue the relationship with his level disrespect. So sorry for your loss. Most definitely not the asshole. An educated adult in their 30s wondering if she's an asshole for leaving an event to be with her grieving family. Another adult so self-centered that he sends a long text about being abandoned and horrible behavior when his Phil has just died. And a title that conveniently leaves out a crucial piece of information that makes this troll story an obvious not the asshole vote. I wish these kinds of posts were auto-deleted. Am I the asshole for being too close to my ex-husband? 6 years ago I got divorced from my now ex-husband. There was no drama that led to this, we simply realized we were no longer happy or in love, so it would have been a clean break if not for the fact we had a daughter who is now 11. Neither of us wanted to lose full custody of her or miss important moments in her life. She is the most important person in both our lives, and we debated on trying to make it work just for her but realized that would only lead to all three of us becoming miserable, so we entered an arrangement that many would view as unconventional. When we sold our house we used the money to buy 2 semi-detached houses that were joined and had a door installed between them. The construction company tried to warn us against this as it would affect resale value, but neither of us had any intention to sell, so we had them go ahead with it. We also had them take down the fence between both our back gardens so our daughter would have an extra large back garden to play in. Many of you may balk at the door, but there is an agreement. It is strictly for our daughter's use and neither of us can use it barring any emergencies, say a fire, a medical emergency, or something being wrong with our daughter. She has 2 bedrooms, one in each house, and every day she can pick where she wants to have breakfast, dinner, and sleep. I won't lie, it was awkward at first, but for her sake we made it work and even regained a lot of the friendship we had lost, though it was of course strictly platonic now. Last year my ex-husband married his girlfriend of 3 years, a lovely woman who I'm actually friends with, and I was even a guest at their wedding with my daughter being one of her bridesmaids. All in all, it's an arrangement everyone is content with except for my boyfriend, who I started to date 2 years ago. He understood the arrangement entering into the relationship, and while he said it was a bit weird, he never protested and all seemed well. Things are getting more serious and we've been discussing moving in together, and he has made it clear he wants me to move as he doesn't want to live next door to my ex-husband. I understood that but told him that wouldn't be happening as my daughter had to come first and our arrangement gave her a stable upbringing. He got upset with me and asked me how he was supposed to be a father to my daughter when she already had a dad and he was literally a wall away. I won't lie, this took me by surprise as I had no idea he wanted to be a father to her. I told him gently but firmly that he wasn't her father, that she already had one, and that even her father's wife didn't try to be a mother, instead she is called by her name. I told him if he wants some kind of familial title he could be an uncle, but I wouldn't give him permission to take her father's title when he is very much involved in her life. He told me if I loved him I'd move for him, and despite me trying to tell him I do love him he isn't listening. Am I the asshole in this? Not the asshole. Sounds like you very clearly explained how things work in your world. Kudos for coming up with a unique parenting method that puts your daughter firmly as the most cherished outcome of your previous relationship. Your new boyfriend may not be compatible with your uniquely blended family. But of a red flag that he wants to appropriate the title of father, good on you for nipping that in the bud. Well done, carry on. Without him, if he can't get the brief, do him a favor and break up with him. He isn't going to be happy. You and your ex did this thing and your ex is lucky he found someone who didn't have a problem with it. You may not be so lucky, but that is a chance you took doing this. It's hard to move on, and most people are not going to want to pursue a relationship with this kind of arrangement. That works for you and you are happy with it, then that's good. There is no way to compromise here. You aren't budging, so break up with this guy and let him go. Not the asshole. He knew what he was getting into. Not the asshole. I was going to go with NaH until he began pestering you about if you loved him. Sounds very immature and controlling. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You've found a way to put your child first and do what works best for her. It may be awkward for some people to understand, but that's their problem. Your boyfriend knew what he was getting into from the beginning. Not the asshole. This sounds like an incredible setup that will only benefit your daughter. And I also speculate resaleability may be positively affected because it's so unique. This is a great idea for multi-generational families that live together. Also, it's great to have a partner who loves your kid, but I find his comments to be weird. And he knew the score, but now wants you to change this setup, and that's a no-go emo. Nah. Your living situation works for you, your ex, and your daughter. Like your boyfriend, I couldn't imagine moving into that claustrophobic mess. Not the asshole, but you gotta realize that that is a situation that not many people are going to want to jump into. That's gonna be a deal breaker for a large percentage of men. It shouldn't be, but it will be.